Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Masud. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I managed to acquire my first property for 20% below the asking price. Now, as you can see by the image that's coming across your screen right now, this was the house that I purchased. It was on the market for £86,500, but I managed to acquire it for £70,000. Now, how was I able to do that in a market where at the time when I was sort of bidding for it, it was quite a lot of demand for properties in that particular area? There was a lot of bids, so that means it was a lot of competition as well. Well, there was a number of ways that I did this, and I'd like to explain in this video. So here goes. Number one, you need to understand the seller's situation. It's absolutely crucial to getting a deal. So initially, when I was sort of just researching about the property, I looked at many properties on Rightmove, and I was just calling up agents and speaking to them. On this property, I spoke to the agent and I asked them questions that gave me an insight into why the seller was selling. The reason why I wanted to do this was to understand the seller's psychology for selling their house. Why? Because it gives me a little bit of leverage going into the sale. I know that the seller might accept a lower offer if she's more motivated for whatever reason. I found out after speaking to the agent, after many tries, because initially they didn't open up to me. I had to call them and speak to them again and again. And yeah, they mentioned that the seller had to sell because they were in financial difficulties. So they needed to pay off their existing mortgage with the sale of this house. So that put me in a position of power. Number two, create commitment and then take advantage. So sounds a little bit unethical, but it's what a lot of investors do. And personally, I didn't actually have the intention of doing this, but it's just the way it played out. So initially, when I actually bid on the property, I bid $77,000 when I spoke to the agent. They came back to me and they mentioned that the seller had rejected that offer. So the next offer I made was $80,000. Now at this point, I had no one to advise me about what I was doing. Well, pretty much I don't have anyone to advise me. I just had to use my research. So anyway, I bid $80,000. And then we sort of initiated the conveyancing process. So I was practically, going to buy the property and the seller was going to sell it to me. Everyone else that had bid on the property was pretty much late. So I was locked in. It was subject to contract and all the deal had to do was complete. Now, after about 3 grueling months of waiting or going through the conveyancing process, during this time, I spoke to many industry professionals and to some of my other friends who are property investors. Speaking to them about the deal that I was doing, it kind of made me realize that this isn't really a deal. After doing the survey, the works that came around that needed doing for the house came up to about £7,000. So if we sort of take that into consideration with my offer of 80,000, 7,000 plus 80,000 is pretty much the asking price. So I'm basically paying market value for a house, and that's not a deal. Doesn't sound like a deal to me, because that's what I wanted and it wasn't what I was getting. So luckily, you can call it luck, but I don't know if you would. At this time, it was just at the start when the outbreak of COVID-19 happened, and people started to panic. This was when people were going crazy about toilet rolls and raiding the shops. At this time, I decided I'm going to tell the agent that I don't want to buy anymore, and I'm going to sort of, I'm going to pull out. So what then happened is the seller made contact with the agent made contact with the seller and broke the news down to her. And after about an hour, I got a call back from the agent letting me know that the seller was gutted, that was pulling out. and she would be willing to accept a lower offer of 76,000. Now, I knew this still wasn't a deal for me, so I rejected it and I said, no, I want 68,000. So after going back and forth many times, we agreed on a price of 70,000. So that's 16,500 or 70,000 below the asking price. Number 3, so you need to be quick. You need to have speed whenever you're sort of making an offer on a house. I was actually the first person on to view the house and to bid on it. It was actually on the market for about a month's time before anyone sort of, you know, had a chance to view it. This was because tenants were still staying inside the property around about sort of December time. I kept following up with the agent as I normally do, and around about January time, I managed to get word from them that the tenants had just moved out the day before. I immediately booked a viewing and went up and just had a look at the property, and then made a bid subsequently. And then I sort of, you know, as I mentioned, that bid was rejected, and I sort of rebid again and got the other bid accepted. Anyway, the point is, you need to be quick to bid. You need to be quick with what you're doing because, as I mentioned, that Liverpool in general is a hot market. It's for property. There's a lot of investors, even in Liverpool, but generally from like the south. People who have money, but they find London too expensive for them, so they go up north because they're attracted to the high yields and the potential for capital growth, and you know, a lot of other things. Anyway, the market is very, very competitive, so you have to be quick. Yeah, that's pretty much how I was able to do it, and I'm quite confident if you guys do the same sort of thing or you follow the same sort of pattern, it could happen to you. So yeah, make sure you use these sort of tips in your next property deals if you are buying your first property, or you know, if you're investing in any more properties. I'm sure these will help you out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one, and yeah, see you soon.